key benefit of free trade agreements, or FTAs, is lowered or eliminated tariffs on qualifying goods sold in a foreign market. Each agreement is unique, but there are similar ways of determining if a good qualifies to receive a preferential tariff. To qualify, your good must meet certain trade agreement requirements known as rules of origin. Then you can legally use the FTA tariff rate for your shipment. It is not enough for the good to be shipped from, made, or assembled within the US or participating FTA country. Let's look at this process more closely. Your first step is to look up the tariff rate for shipping your good to the other country. Use the foreign country's HS code for your product. You will choose between the regular tariff rate, known as the Most Favored Nation or MFN rate, or the FTA rate. If you choose the MFN rate, you do not need to qualify your good. If you choose the FTA rate, review the trade agreement and its qualification process. You can find information for each agreement on trade.gov or ustr.gov. As you review the agreement, you'll notice there are generally 3 ways to qualify a good. First, the good is wholly obtained or produced entirely in one of the FTA countries. That includes items entirely grown, fished, or mined. Second, the good is produced entirely in one of the FTA countries exclusively from components and materials that originated in one of the FTA countries. Or third, the good meets other requirements or product-specific rules of origin. This is how goods made with components coming from outside the FTA region can qualify for the FTA rate. You can find product-specific rules of origin in the FTA text by looking them up with your finished goods foreign HS code. The text will describe how to determine if the product qualifies. The most common options are the tariff shift method or the regional value content method. The first method, a tariff shift, is the most frequent. Tariff shift means that product components are transformed enough to result in a new HS classification code for the finished product. The amount of non-FTA components does not matter. In this example, imported wood is manufactured into a piece of furniture. The HS codes for wood and the furniture item differ enough to qualify. In the second method, the regional value content or RVC method, you calculate the percentage of the goods value coming from any country within the FTA area. This value includes materials, labor, and other costs that go into creating your final good. It must meet a certain threshold to qualify. You will need to gather information about your goods components to use this method, such as the HS code, cost, and country of origin for each input. Remember to update this if the source of a component changes. There are different approaches to calculating the RVC. The FTA will list the requirements. For some goods, you may encounter special situations. There may be specific requirements for goods in certain industries to qualify. Also, you may not have to calculate qualification if it is a low-value shipment or the product has a very small amount of non-FTA content, referred to as de minimis. The FTA text will provide details. If you need help, you can seek a formal customs ruling about your goods' FTA qualification from your buyer's country. Once you have qualified your good, follow the FTA's documentation requirements. The product description should be as similar as possible to the importing country's HS description to avoid delays. You may need to complete a special form known as a Certificate of Origin. In other cases, a letter on your company's stationery or a statement on the commercial invoice that the shipment qualifies for the FTA rate will suffice. Your buyer may also request a specific format. These documents do not require approval from other entities, but are still official. They can be requested by the foreign customs agency or your buyer. Keep the records that established your goods' FTA qualification. They may be requested upon importing the shipment. The FTA will also specify the number of years after the shipment when an audit could be conducted. Include documentation that establishes the value and source of any components, as well as your internal qualifying process. Free trade agreements make it easier for U.S. exporters to compete in partner countries. In most cases, the effort required to qualify your good is worth the increased sales and profit margin.